Hel- Hello everyone. So, I am going to discuss to you about another individual and dual sports in PE3, which is table tennis. So, alam ko you are familiar with this sport po kasi hindi naman na siya bago or hindi natin naririnig dito sa Philippines, 'di ba? So, table tennis is nakakasama na siya sa mga international competitions. Ayan. So, since you are familiar with table tennis or also known as ping pong, syempre dito gumagamit tayo ng bola, table tennis racket, and a special design table with a net. And also, the main objective of this game is to uh, bounce the ball on the table before hitting it back. Okay, so that is a short introduction for table tennis. So, let's have the outline. So, the introduction, the brief history of table tennis, the equipments and facilities, fundamental skills and techniques, and rules of the game. So, ito po yung mga i-discuss ko sa inyo ngayon. So, let's have first the brief history or the history of table tennis. So, table tennis is a relatively new sport. It was first conceived by a British officer in 1881. He used a dining table and filed a set of books at the middle of the table. He knitted web into a cork ball from wine bottle and used cigar boxes cover as a racket. In 1901, the game was also known as Wiff Waff, Flim Fam, and Gosima, which were the trade names of balls given by the Jacks and Son Parker brothers, who are the manufacturers of sporting goods. Later, the game was named ping pong, derived from the sound made by the ball when it hits the racket and the table. In 1903, Arnold Parker, a champion table tennis player, formulated the first law in table tennis. So, in this first part po, sa history of table tennis, binigyang emphasize yung pagsisimula ng table tennis, which is kumbaga naging bagong sport siya, kung paano siya naging bagong sport, which is noon by the or through British officers po during 1881, nakapag-invent or nakapag-create sila ng set of equipments and facilities para malaro ang table tennis, which is as table, gumamit sila ng dining table, and as a net, gumamit sila ng filed set of books para maiharang nila sa gitna ng dining table. And para magkaroon sila ng bola, gumamit sila ng cork ball nung wine bottle. And para magkaroon sila ng raketa, ang ginamit naman nila ay cigar boxes. And ayan, so yun yung mga kumbaga ginamit nila na mga gamit or bagay para kumbaga malaro nila yung table tennis. Okay? So later on, since nakapag-create na sila or nakapag-invent na sila ng mga gamit or equipments to play the game, syempre dapat meron silang term, 'di ba? Or tawag dun sa larong 'yon. Which is dito na nga during 1901, nakapag-create sila ng mga term para sa larong table tennis. So, we have WIFAF, Flim Fam, Gosima. Ayan. So, yung trade names naman ng mga to, kung sino kasi dati yung mga sikat, 'di bang names. Ayan. So, sila yung kumbaga nagbibigyan ng emphasis when it comes to giving names sa mga laro. Which is, ayun nga, sila yung mga kumbaga naging sikat sa pagbibigay ng mga names dito sa table tennis. Ang Jacks and Son and Parker brothers. And also, binigyan din dito ng emphasis na kumbaga noon, since nagkaroon na ng other terms and equipments, yung table tennis, dito na na-derive yung modern term for table tennis, which is ping pong. Ayan. So, later, napalitan siya ng term na table tennis na. And, sabi, nung 1903, nagkaroon ng first formulated law, which is through Arnold Parker. Si Arnold Parker is, kumbaga kilala siya kasi champion siya sa larong table tennis. Ayan. So, the game lost its popularity in 1904 because the cost of the racket and the ball went high. When it regained its popularity in 1922, different national associations were formed in 1926, one of which was the International Table Tennis Federation, or ITTF, which was established in Berlin. Its main objective was to formulate laws in table tennis and see to it that the game is played as a contest for human skills. And constant change in the equipment are being disseminated and strictly followed by all. So, dito naman po sa second part ng history of table tennis, binigyang emphasis naman na, kumbaga, during the times na naging popular na yung table tennis, since popular siya, 'di ba? Katulad naman ng mga nangyayari sa atin sa ekonomiya natin, 'di ba? Kumbaga kapag may bagong bagay, mataas talaga yung price niya. Ayan, ganun din sa sports. Tulad nitong table tennis, since naging popular siya, naging mahal yung mga equipments. Ayan, so until, kumbaga, sobrang taas ng cost niya, nawala na yung popularity niya kasi wala nang tumatangkilik. Kasi nga, hindi afford ng tao. And, during 1926 naman po, since na-regained na yung popularity ulit ng table tennis during 1922, during 1926 naman, na-form na yung National Association or governing agencies natin when it comes to table tennis, which is the ITTF. So, meron pa yan mga ibang governing bodies when it comes to table tennis. Okay? So, katulad lang din nung mga previous lessons natin, kapag sinabing mga organization, sila yung nagsiset ng rules, sila yung nag-aayos ng rules, sila yung nag-organize ng weights sa mga equipments, ng sukat sa mga playing court. Ayan, that's the purpose of national associations or national organizations po ng bawat sports or game. Next, table tennis became the number one racket game in China, Japan, and United States. Early years of international competitions were dominated by European countries and is the major sport in England, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia. So, dito naman po sa third part ng history natin sa table tennis, since it regained its popularity, naging number one racket game siya dito sa mga countries na tulad ng China, Japan, and United States. Since naging popular siya, syempre meron tayong mga mako-considered na, kumbaga, umangat when it comes to being champion sa larong table tennis. So, ayan, nagkaroon na ng dominated nga by European countries. Specifically, England, Hungary, Czechoslovakia. Ayan. So, next, in the Philippines, it also fast becoming a popular sport. It is now included as one of the events in athletic sports meets. So, as I've said earlier, sabi ko nga, alam ko you are familiar with this game kasi sa Philippines, 'di ba, sa atin, sa palarong Bicol, palarong pambansa, etc. Sa mga athletic meets, kasama na talaga siya, and may mga players na tayo na kumbaga nakasama sa mga palarong pambansa, sa mga intercollegiate meet din. Ayan. Next is, ayan, kasama pa rin siya sa history of table tennis. So, table tennis is played as singles as well as doubles. It is played in both men's and women's category. Table tennis is played by the rules set by the ITTF. So, as katulad sinabi ko kanina, so, the very first National Association or governing body natin sa table tennis, the ITTF, sila yung nagsiset ng rules sa table tennis. And sa table tennis, parang badminton lang din siya, nilalaro ng babae and lalaki, and singles and double. So, ito naman, yung next slide natin is about, ayan. So, aside from ITTF, meron din tayong mga governing bodies. We have ETTU, which stands for European Table Tennis Union, which is during its popularity nga ng table tennis, sila yung country na kumbaga nag-dominate, na sila yung laging nananalo when it comes to table tennis. Ayan, yung mga European countries natin. Next is we have Europe and USA or USAT. Ayan. Sorry. ETTU for Europe and USA naman for USAT. Ayan. Next is we have the facilities and equipments. Ito yung mga ginagamit at kailangan sa paglalaro ng table tennis. Syempre, dapat hindi mawala yung table. Ayan. So, table natin is constructed yan. Ayan. Constructed of, sabihin ko na lang yung centimeters sa, okay. Emphasize natin yung centimeters. Constructed of 1.9 centimeters thick of fine plywood, pero special, siya, fine plywood talaga. Yung tipong, hindi siya yung regular na kapag nabasang plywood, kumbaga magtitikal na siya, hindi po ganon. And 9 feet or 2.74 meters in length, or yung haba niya is 2.74 meters. So, take note for this, yung mga sukat natin. And 5 feet ang width naman niya, or yung lapad natin. Okay? So, next is we have playing surface. So, siya yun yung nilalaroan. Should be dark, usually green and non-reflecting. Kasi, syempre kapag light na kasi yung color ng natin, ng bola. Mamaya papakita ko rin sa inyo. Okay? So, non-reflecting kasi, kumbaga, nakakasilaw, 'di ba? Kapag yung mga light colors, lalong-lalo na kapag maliwanag yung playing area natin. So, usually green, pero may mga makikita kayo blue na color. Yan. So, may mga sukat din siya. So, tandaan lang ninyo yung horizontal plane, which is 2 feet and 6 inches or 76 centimeters above the floor. Ayan, nakikita nyo yung 76 centimeters sa picture naman po, above the floor. Ayan. So, sidelines and end lines natin are white. Syempre, dapat iba yung kulay ng lines doon sa playing surface natin. Next is, ayan yung sukat niya naman is 2 centimeters. Equal yan, sidelines and end lines. And we have the center line. Ayan, center line is also white but only 3 millimeters wide. Ayan. So, imagine niyo na lang kasi maliit lang talaga yung table niya. Hindi na siya kalakihan. Ayan. Next is we have the net. Ayan. So, yung net nilalagay sa center line. So, light in texture and stretch across center of table and attached to the outside by vertical standards. Net should be from 6 to 6 and 3/4 inches above the table. Ayan. Next is we have the racket or paddle. Very important equipment sa table tennis. A wooden rubber face racket as mandated by the rules of ITTF. So, during the high level competition po, talagang very strict sila dito sa mga ginagamit na mga equipments, lalong-lalo na sa mga sukat. Ayan. So, dapat gawa sa wooden rubber face yung raketa natin. Striking surface of the racket must be covered with a pimpled rubber facing inward and outward. So, yung dalawang kulay na yan, merong purpose yan, the inward and outward. A single layer of cellular sponge rubber may be located underneath the rubber surface. So, yan nakikita yung color red and black, yan yung tinatawag dating rubber. And after that, sa ilalim niyan, yun na yung merong cellular layer, which is yung sponge na. Special sponge din siya, kasi hindi siya yung ganun kalambot na pinapanghugas natin. Okay? So, next is the two surface of the blade shall be black on one side and bright red on the other side. Ayan. So, next is the ping pong ball. So, may dalawang klase. Ayan, meron tayong orange, taka white. So, ito may mga sukat din to. So, dapat nating tandaan to. So, small, celluloid, spherical, white, or yellow. Orange yan kapag in person, 'di ba? I don't know, pero orange sa aking paningin. Ayan. So, ang diameter niya is 40 mm and ang timbang niya is 2.5 grams in weight. Is fragile but quite hard to break unless step on. Oo, kasi kahit anong hard nung palo mo, hindi siya nababasag. Not unless talagang masasagasaan ng kumbaga heavy object or yung paa natin, 'di ba? Ay, nasisira talaga siya. The ITTF approved standard ball has a uniform bounce. Ito yung uniform bounce niya. Talagang chinecheck yan ng ITTF sa mga competition, high-level competition. Talagang pinapaugtol nila. Pero kapag hindi naka-reach, ibig sabihin, reject yan. Ayan. So, ito yung approved standard ball bounce niya. If it is drop, syempre huhulog yan. Height of 12 inches, lahat yan 12. On a plywood, it should bounce up to 8 and 3/4 to 9 and 3/4 inches or 22 to 25 cm. So, dapat pag pinabounce siya dun sa plywood or dun sa table, ang taas niya pag nag-ugtol or nag-bounce nga ay 22 to 25 cm. Ibig sabihin, tamang klase yung ping pong balls natin. Ayan. Next is we have the fundamental skills and techniques. Ayan, very important ito. So, ito naman, may mga, mamaya may mga kita ako mga video presentations po sa pag-execute nitong mga fundamental skills and techniques. Kasi it is very important na kahit ganito, nasa new normal tayo, syempre dapat hindi pa rin nakukulangan tayo ng, kumbaga, learnings when it comes to skills and techniques sa mga laro kasi importante yan. Okay, so unang-una nating dapat matutunan, syempre yung tamang paghawak natin sa raketa or yung grip and racket control kasi hindi dito pwede na sobrang lakas, sobrang mahina. Dapat control lang ang pwersa na ibibigay natin or power na exert natin kapag papaluin natin yung ping pong balls. Ayan. So, dito sa grip and racket control, meron tayo actually tatlo. Pero meron lang tayong 2 basic. Ayan. So, basic kasi talagang for beginner siya. Ayan. So, unang-una natin dyan ay yung orthodox or shake hand grip. Para lang kayo nakipag-shake hand. So, sabi dyan, this is popularly used worldwide. Grasp the racket as if to shake hands with it. It gives you the best forehand and backhand. Forehand and backhand, ito yung kind of stroke na mamaya papakita ko sa inyo kung paano siya i-execute. Ayan. So, dito sa shake hand grip, sobrang dali, 'di ba? Kita nyo naman sa picture, nakikipag-shake hands lang. Tandaan nyo lang kapag nakipag-shake hands kayo, magkukorte lang ng letter V. Ayan. Kasi yung isang finger ninyo, kumbaga ano kayo, may sign baga dyan na ganyan. Ayan. 'Diba? So, ito naman, tinawag siyang shakehand kasi nga madalas, yun, kailangan yung ano natin, magkokorte ng V-shape by one's thumb and index finger and save for the other three fingers. Yung three fingers natin, andyan, nakikita nyo sa picture. Ayan. Next is we have pen hold grip. So this is similar to holding a pen between the thumb and forefinger. The forefinger and thumb reach over the shoulder's blade with the other fingers spread over the back. Only one side of the racket is used for both forehand and backhand shots. This is second most popular type of grip. So, as you can see, yung pen hold, para kayo nakahawak ng ballpen. 'Di ba? Kapag naghahawak tayo ng ballpen, ganyan ang korte. So, ayan, napakasimple lang naman, 'di ba? Kita naman natin sa picture kung paano siya i-execute. Kailangan lang may hawak tayong object para kumbaga ma-execute natin yan. Kasi later on, magpapa-execute din ako sa inyo yan. Okay? That will serve as your activity. Another is ito yung popular din naman, ginagamit din, pero madalas, mahirap kasi siyang gamitin, lalo na kapag beginner ka, kumbaga maiilas ka. Ayan. So, ayan, meron tayong C-Miller grip. Ang gumawa naman ito ang IC, Danny C. Miller. Ayan, use this grip and hence its name after him. This is another one of the minor grips used. This unorthodox grip uses one side to hit both the backhand and forehand shots. This grip is similar to shakehand grip except for the index and thumb fingers. Ayan. So, yung kita nyo naman yung pagkakaiba nila, 'di ba? Kasi sa shakehand, nagkokorte yung letter V. Dito naman, ang pagkakorte niyang letter V, parehas na index and thumb finger ang nasa likuran nung raketa. Unlike nung kanina, 'di ba, nasa unahan yung thumb natin. Yung thumb, tapos yung isa nasa likuran nung raketa. Dun sa shakehand, ito naman, magkasama sila parehas sa likod. And so, next natin is we have serving. So, syempre, kailangan sa fundamental skills and techniques, kailangan marunong tayo mag-serve ng bola sa table tennis. So, meron tayong two types or two kinds of serve dito. So, top spin serve with either a forehand or backhand stroke. The ball is put into play by projecting it upward from the flat free hand. As the ball hit the racket, which is swung forward and after meets descending it, and the racket face is closed or facing upward from the tabletop and net. So, tandaan nyo lang dito sa top spin serve, ang direction or ang projection ng bola natin ay upward. Okay? Upward. Then, yung backspin serve naman po, the ball is struck with a downward, forward motion of the racket. The racket face is open or facing upward from the table top and the net. So, tandaan nyo naman kapag backspin, downward and forward. Sa topspin, upward. Sa backspin ay downward and forward. Next is we have the strokes or shots. Paano mo titirahin yung bola kapag sinerve mo na sa iyong opponent? Anong gagawin mong shot or tira para ikaw ay magkaroon ng advantage or magkapuntos ka? Ayan, para ikaw ang manalo at hindi yung opponent mo. So, meron tayong apat. We have push shots or the basic defensive shot. Forehand or backhand drive, and forehand and backhand chop, which is, this is primarily a defensive stroke. So, smash shot is used for a higher than the net bounce, or the higher, the better. It is high straightforward and downward without spin on the opponent's court. Also, this is an offensive stroke kasi most powerful baga ang smash shot natin. So, ito yung mga videos po na ipapakita ko. So, ipapakita nila kung paano ginagawa ang top spin from serving and stroke po. Okay, or strokes. Okay po?
Hi, I'm Alois Rosero from Ping Skills. Edison's asked us a question about how to return a short backspin serve effectively. So Edison, you're not having too many problems actually getting it back on the table, but you're finding it difficult to keep the other player from attacking you. So the main thing to think about is to try and keep the ball as low and as short as possible. If you can do that, then it's going to be really difficult for him. But having said that, that's not that easy to do straight away. The things you need to think about are, firstly, focusing on pushing the ball back short. So that should be your main aim. Don't try to do the backhand side spin flick or to flick it to start with. Let's just really focus on getting a good short push return. To do that, it's just about experimenting with the angle of your racket to get that right. If your racket is too flat and the ball's got a lot of spin on it, it's going to go down. If your bat's up too much like that, it's going to end up returning too high. So it's a matter of getting it just right. And that comes with a bit of experience. The other thing to think about is where you're focusing on hitting the ball. Really focus on getting that return just to the top of the net. Don't try and think about pushing it forward too much. Just try and think about touching it so it's going to touch the top of the net and go over. That's what you really need to focus on to start off with returning that backspin serve effectively. To get a good short return, try and keep your hand nice and soft, so really have a soft grip. That will tend to absorb some of the speed of the ball as well.
All right, Alois, some more great advice there about returning the backspin serve. Now, how do we actually practice those skills? What's the best way to learn it?
So one way is to get your training partner to just serve a lot of backspin serves short to you and practice just experimenting with the angle of your racket to get it right. That is probably the ideal way. You can also practice it with some multi-ball if you can get your partner to just feed out backspin multi-ball and to vary the amount of spin that they're putting on that feed.
Okay.
So that you need to watch that and adjust it a little bit.
All right, so get out there, practice it lots, and remember to focus on those tips that Alois mentioned.
Hi, I'm Ellie from Gilbert Table Tennis Center, and today I would like to tell you about how to play table tennis, including strokes. So basically, if you'd like to play table tennis and you'd like to play successfully, so you would like to stay a little bit lower to the ground. So in your athletic position, try to bend your knees, and you're going to start point with the service. So you have to serve the ball like this, and then when your opponent returns the ball, so everybody hits once. So it will look like this. So right now, Bella and I, we're using the underspin strokes. So we're staying with the backspin stroke right now, on the backspin side. So in this stroke, you would like to pay attention that you're brushing the ball through very lightly. And the ball is leaving your racket with underspin. Then on the forehand underspin stroke would look like this. So here you would like to focus on brushing the ball through again, very lightly. Try to keep the ball very low above the net. So you don't want to hit the ball too high like this. Okay, very low. Then you would like to move your feet as you play. That's very important. Try to stay on the bent knees. Keep your body weight off the heels, so you don't want to stay on the heels, okay? The next stroke would be backhand drive. That would be the top spin stroke. And this stroke, this is much more offensive stroke than the underspin. And it's a very, very wide used stroke. Same idea, we have it on the forehand side. Looks like this, very offensive stroke as well. And Bella and I right now are going to perform just the point when we play anywhere on the table. And that's how the point will look in the game. Moving your feet and watching the ball all the time. Very helpful. Okay. And the game will go until 11 points, and the person who scores 11 points is winning the game. Unless it's 10-10, then it's deuce, and you have to be apart by 2 points, either 12-10 or 13-11, 14-12, and so on. And the matches usually played best of 7 or best of 5. So if you're playing best of 5, you have to win three games. 3-0, 3-1, or 3-2. And if it's best of 7, then you have to win 4 games. 4-0, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3. And I'm Ellie from Gilbert Table Tennis Center, and today I showed you how to play table tennis, including strokes. Thanks for watching.
So, ayan. So, as you can see po, doon sa mga video presentation, so pinakita doon yung pag-execute ng topspin serve and backspin, and kinds of strokes and shots used in table tennis. So, another fundamental skills and techniques naman po is ito yung forehand drive, backhand push, and forehand push. So, bigyan natin ng emphasis itong mga ito. So, yung mga strokes when playing table tennis, paano ba siya ginagawa? Okay, so meron ako ditong mga specific video presentation po dito sa mga strokes na ito. Ayan.
Teamed up with British and Irish champion, how to do a forehand drive in table tennis. Hello and welcome to Video Jug. We've teamed up with British and Irish champion, Jason Sugru, to show you how to play a forehand drive. A forehand drive is a light topspin stroke that produces a low ball trajectory and is the primary offensive stroke in table tennis. Step 1. Stance. Stand with your legs slightly more than shoulder width apart. If you are right-handed, your left leg should be a little further in front. Your knees should be bent, your body leaning slightly forward. Step 2. The shot. As we watch Jason play this forehand drive, we can split up the shot into 3 basic positions. A. The backswing position. B. The striking position. And C. The finishing position. Step 3. The backswing. Pivot your hips and shoulders into a backswing. Take the racket back with you along with your body. Your arm and body should backswing in one fluid motion into the stroke starting position. Step 4. Strike. Swing forwards in one integrated motion. At this point, transfer your weight from your back leg to your front leg. Accelerate your forearm on striking the ball. You must strike the ball out in front of you with the racket closed and taking the ball at the peak of its bounce. Step 5. The follow-through. As you follow through, make sure that your racket is pointing in the direction you want the ball to go. To follow through, add about 35 or 40% of the stroke length after you've hit the ball. Don't let the racket swing across your body. It's very easy to swing too hard and end up overshooting the table. Keep practicing the shot in a continuous motion, reversing back to the start position each time. Soon you'll be as good as Jason. Done. How to do a forehand drive in table tennis. Hello and welcome to Video Jug. We've teamed up with How to do a backhand drive in table tennis. Hello and welcome to Video Jug. We've teamed up with British and Irish champion Jason Sugru to show you how to play a backhand drive. A backhand drive is a light topspin stroke that produces a low ball trajectory. Step 1. Stance. Stand with your legs totally square to where the ball is coming from. So if you are right-handed playing backhand to backhand, you need to be square to where you want the ball to go. If you are left-handed, you will need to be the opposite side, again square to where you want the ball to go. Your legs must be slightly more than shoulder width apart. Bend your knees and lean forward slightly. Step 2. The shot. As we watch Jason play the backhand drive, we can see that it's a much shorter shot than the forehand drive. Step 3. The stroke. You must begin the shot from behind the centre of the body, meeting the ball out in front of you. The racket head should be pointing towards where you want the ball to go. Use most of the forearm in the shot, meeting the ball at the peak of the bounce, and use a slight follow-through. Keep practicing the shot in a continuous motion, reversing back to the start position each time. Soon you'll be as good as Jason. Done.
Hi, I'm Alois Rosario.
And I'm Jeff Plum from pingskills.com, and today we're going to look at the backhand push.
Firstly, let's look at why we need the push. It's a really useful stroke if the other person gives you a backspin ball, because with the push it's much easier to get the ball back. It's also a good stroke if you want to generate some backspin and make it harder for your opponent at the other end of the table. So let's examine the backhand push. Firstly, we start with the feet position, making sure your legs are nice and bent, and you can be quite square onto the table if it's a long push. The next thing we need to think about is your start position. So your start position is in front of your body, same as with the backhand counter hit, but this time you're going to lay your bat back a little bit so that you can counter the backspin on the ball and also be able to generate the backspin yourself by brushing underneath the ball. The third thing is we come forward, hit the ball and follow through down towards the table or towards the net, just depending on what type of spin's on the ball when it's coming to you. So the three basics: feet square on, start position in front, tilt your bat back and push forward towards the table or the net. Let's have a look at Jeff doing the backhand push. You'll notice that his bat is tilted back so it's facing towards the roof. From there he comes forward, brushing underneath the ball to just generate a little bit of backspin.
Another thing you can do with the push is vary the amount of spin you're getting onto. You can start with not much spin with a fairly open bat, and then if you want to get more spin, you can lay your bat back and brush under the ball. Just get a brushing contact and go underneath the ball. That'll generate more backspin, which will make it harder for your opponent to attack.
The backhand push is a very soft stroke, so it's important that you don't try and hit the ball too hard with the push. Because it has backspin on the ball, if you hit the ball too hard, the ball will fly off the end of the table. It's more a control stroke and a stroke that you position to make it harder for your person at the other end. If you've learnt the backhand push, now you can go to pingskills.com and learn a whole lot more about the strokes of table tennis. Hi, I'm Alois Rosario.
And I'm Jeff Plum from pingskills.com, and today we're going to look at the forehand push.
Why do we need the forehand push? It's a useful stroke, especially on the return of serve and to counter a heavy backspin ball when you're not in position to make an attacking stroke. Let's look at the basic things that you need to consider when making the forehand push. Firstly, like with all of our ping skill strokes, we talk about the legs. So you have your legs fairly square to the table, or you can be a little bit side on to the table for the forehand push. The second thing is our start position, making sure that you're starting with your bat laid back a little bit so that you can brush underneath the ball and counter the backspin. And the start position can be next to you or a little bit forward of that. The third thing we need to think about is to come forward, contact the ball, and move your hand and your wrist just forward towards the ball, towards the net. If it has less backspin, you can think about coming more down towards the table. So, your basic stance, starting with your bat laid back beside you and pushing forward with your fingers, your hand, your wrist, and a little bit of your forearm to make the stroke.
With the forehand push, you can vary the amount of backspin you get on the ball by opening up the angle of your bat and coming underneath it. So for less spin, you have a more flatter bat, and for more spin, you come underneath in a more brushing action. Now, getting more backspin on the ball is useful because it makes it harder for your opponent to attack that backspin ball.
The forehand push is a very soft stroke. It's mainly just used to position the ball well to make it difficult for the opponent at the other end. It's not used to try and hit a winner. If you try and hit the ball too fast with your bat angled backwards, it has to go off the end of the table. So it's really important that with the push that you keep the stroke nice and soft. If this lesson on the forehand push has helped you, then go to pingskills.com where you'll find a lot more information about the strokes of table tennis.
So, as you can see on the video presentations na pinakita ko po, nandun naman na yung mga procedures on how to execute the 4 kinds of the basic strokes used in table tennis. Ayan. So, bigyan lang natin ng emphasis yung mga combinations of strokes para sa pag-execute ng forehand drive. Sa forehand drive, kailangan ng backhand drive, backhand push, and forehand push. Okay? So, next is sa backhand drive naman po, kailangan ng combinations of forehand drive, backhand push, and forehand push. While sa backhand push naman po, kailangan ng combination ng forehand drive, backhand drive, and forehand push. Okay? So, sa forehand push naman po, meron tayong combination ng forehand drive, backhand drive, and backhand push. Ayan. So, now we will proceed to the rules of the game. Okay. So, the service. Pinakauna kasi service is putting the ball into play. A good service is delivered by projecting the ball from the free hand of the projection starts from above the playing surface. The ball must be resting on the palm of free hand, which is flat, and the thumb free of the fingers. As it starts to descend, the ball is struck so that it touches the server's court first, and then passing directly over or around the net touches the receiver's court. A good return of a serve ball must be struck by the receiver on the first bounce so that it passes directly over or around the net and touches directly on top of the opponent's court. So as you can see dun sa mga video presentations na kanina po na pinakita ko, pwede na kayo dun kumuha ng kumbaga skill sa pag-execute ng service. 'Di ba? Kanina nga meron tayong pinakita about top spin serve and backhand backspin serve. So hindi lang tayo dapat mag-execute no ng basta-basta lang. Dapat alam natin yung mga advantages ng top spin and backspin serve para kumbaga magkaroon ng advantage din sa'yo kasi makakakuha ka ng point. And pwede, maybe, ikaw yung maging winner sa larong table tennis. Okay? So, next is a point. Paano ba nagkakaroon ng point sa table tennis? Or a point is awarded to the opponent in the following circumstances. 1. Failure to make a good service unless a let is declared. So, dapat, tulad nga ng sabi ko kanina, dapat hindi lang kayo magsiserve ng top spin and backspin. Dapat kargahan na ninyo. Para service pa lang, maitawid na ninyo sa opponent ninyo. Kasi failure to make a good service, point ng kalaban. Failure to make a good return of a good service or a good return made by the opponent unless a let is declared. So, once nag-service na, play na yon. So, dapat maibalik mo siya, 'di ba, nang maayos dun sa opponent mo. Kasi once na hindi mo yun makuha, point yun ang kalaban mo. So, let pala, the term let is also term for replay. Ayan. So, mamaya may ano din po akong information about let. If the player, the racket, or anything that the player wears or carries touches the net or its support while the ball is in play. So, dito, nagkakaroon ng point din kapag anuman ang suot or dala or dinadala ng player, pag tumama or na hawakan ninyo ang net, yan ay puntos ng inyong kalaban. Once na mag-start na yung play, dapat wala nang didikit dyan sa net. Okay? Next, if the player's free hand touches the playing surface while the ball is in play, kapag hinawakan mo yung table, kapag hinawakan mo yung net, point yan ng kalaban. Or point mo yan. Ayan. Next, if before the ball in play has passed over the end lines or sidelines, not yet having touched the playing surface on the player side of the table after being struck by the opponent, it comes in contact with the player or anything the player wears or carries. A point will be awarded po kasi ang objective ng larong table tennis is hitting the ball. The ball should first bounce dun sa court mo bago mag-bounce doon sa opponent mo. So, once na, kumbaga touch daw yan sa sideline and end lines, that's good. A point will be awarded. Basta nag-bounce lang siya dun sa court mo. Ayan. Next, if a player strikes the ball twice in succession, double kasi yon. So, meron siyang double touch din. So, hindi yun pwede kasi magkakaroon ng point yon. Ayan, the point will be awarded or a point will be awarded. If the server or partner stamps a foot during the service, a point will be awarded din kapag yung paa natin is nag-create ng anumang sounds or nag-stamp. Ayan. Kasi kumbaga, ano yan pansindak natin. Hindi yun pwede. Pansindak natin sa opponent natin. Hindi yun pwede kasi kumbaga na out of focus ang opponent natin. Ayan. Next, a let or a let ball which is then replayed is called in the following cases. So, tulad ng sabi ko kanina, the term let or another term for let is replayed. Pwedeng maulit. Okay? In some of the following cases. If the serve ball in passing over the net touches it or its support, provided that the service would otherwise have been good or valid by the receiver. Kung yung serve ball daw po ay nag-pass over the net and na-touch niya, 'di ba? Say for example, kumbaga nag-serve ka, then nag-bounce na sa table mo, and then nag-over the net na, that will be replayed kasi wait. Okay, so dito sa let or etong case po na ito is that yung serve ball ay kumbaga tumama or dumikit sa support nung net natin. Ayan. Pero natira nung opponent natin or nung receiver, replayed or a let will be awarded. Kung mauulitin mo yung pag-serve mo ng bola kasi nag-touch siya dun sa support nung net pero tinira nung kalaban mo. Okay, replay yon. Pero, not unless yun ay, kumbaga kung outside, hindi yun ma-replay. Dapat good lang, okay? Good serve lang. Ayan. Next is we have if a service is delivered when the receiver is not ready. Provided always that the receiver may not be deemed unready if an attempt to strike at the ball is made. So, dito, nare-replay or nagkakaroon din ng let kapag nag-service ka tapos hindi pa naman ready yung opponent mo. Like, say, for example, kung natanggal yung sintas ng sapatos niya tapos bigla ka nag-serve, a replay will be called. Not unless, kumbaga, sinadya mo na, kumbaga, habang nagsisintas yung kalaban mo, talagang sinerve mo naman talaga yung bola. Ayan. So, next, if either player is prevented by an accident, not under his or her control from serving a good service or making a good return. So, say for example, kung yung player ay siya yung magsiservice tapos biglang may lumipad na libro papunta sa kanya, replay or a let will be called kasi hindi niya naman kasalanan yun or it is not under his or her control na kumbaga may humulo galing sa taas ng libro, 'di ba? Ayan. Next, scoring. Paano ba nagkakaroon ng score sa or paano ina-award yung score sa larong table tennis? A point is scored by the side that makes the last successful return prior to the end of a rally. In an unsuccessful return, the ball is missed, struck with the side of a racket, blade having an illegal surface, hit off the table, sent into the net, or hit onto the player's own half of the court on the return. Failure to make a good serve also scores a point for the opponent unless it is a let. So, take note for the scoring. Once na magkaroon ka na ng failure, basta failure, point yun. As well as successful. Pero may mga cases tayo provided na, kumbaga, yung judges is talagang, kumbaga, may case na yung judge, sila mismo yung nag-decide na, kumbaga, a point will be awarded to this team. Ayan. Kasi ganito yung opponent, ganyan. Ayan. Next, in play. So, in play, the ball is in play from the moment it is projected from the hand in service until one of the following has occurred. So, tulad ng sabi ko, so service is very important kasi service is about putting the ball in play. So, kapag nag-service na, play na yan. Ayan. So, it has touched one court twice consecutively. Ayan. So, next is we have, kapag, malalaman mo daw kapag play na, kapag it has touched one court twice consecutively, it has, except in service, touch each court alternately without having been struck by the racket immediately. It has been struck by either player more than once consecutively. It has touched either a player or anything that the player wears or carries except the racket or racket hand below the waist. On the volley, it comes in contact with the racket or the racket hand below the wrist, or it has touched any object other than the net and supports. And, ayan. So, that's all for the rules and regulations of table tennis. So, to sum it up, tandaan nyo lang kapag sa larong table tennis, games are played to 11 points. So, 11 points lang ang table tennis. So, usually, 7 to 5 games yan. Ayan. Or, best of 3. Ayan. So, dapat, din, ng alternate serves every 2 points. Another is, toss the ball straight up when serving. And also, the service can land anywhere in singles. Kapag singles ang event ninyo, kahit saan dyan. Pero, kapag doubles or doubles event, double serve must go right court to right court and left court to left court. Okay? So, dapat dun lang sila babagsak. Okay? Kung nasa right court ka nag-service, dapat papunta sa right court ng opponent mo. Kapag sa left court ka naman, di dapat papunta din sa left court. Okay? So, another is we have alternate hitting in a doubles rally. Dapat, kapag titirahin mo, kunyari ikaw yung last, dapat kapag binalik yung bola, dapat yung kakampi mo naman ang tumira ng bola. Alternate dapat, okay? Kasi kapag hindi, puntos yun ang opponent mo. Volleys are not allowed kasi dapat rally. So, volleys kasi, yan, sa volleyball yan. Dapat, volleys, yung pagpapalitan ng bola, okay? Pagre-return. Ayan. Yung also, you may not touch the table with your non-paddle hand. Kasi 'di ba, sabi nga a point will be awarded kapag anuman ang dumikit sa equipment ng table tennis, like yung table hinawakan mo, like yung net, basta in play na, a point will be awarded dun sa opponent mo. Okay? So, that's all for table tennis, and I hope you've learned. And kung may hindi man malinaw na discussion or topics na na-discuss si ma'am, you can ask po. Okay? So, thank you for listening to my video lesson about table tennis. Okay? So, kung may tanong, huwag mahiyang magtanong. Okay? Thank you.